Teachable or Teachers Bowl moment time. Here we go. Now, Oklahoma started to require that all high school students to pass a class on personal finance before they can graduate. Banking, taxes, investment, loans, insurance, and identity theft, of course, will be part of the curriculum. And the teachers will have to certify that their students comprehend them all. I know Nevada, I believe it is, they passed a bill that says from 3rd to 12th grade, they want them to learn finance before they actually leave to go to the next, to the next grade level. And my question is, Ms. Stevens, how old were you when you first got your first bank account and your first credit card? And which one came first?
The bank account came first. It was probably late in high school on my way into college. The first credit card was in college. You know how they set up those college fairs and orientation. You have all the credit card tables lined up and everyone's just going from table to table to table filling out credit card applications. So it would have been beneficial to have been given the warning.
Yes.
And I think I probably was given the warning and didn't heed it, just ignored it. Credit cards are a major deal, especially when you're in college and you're young and you can get something now and pay for it later, allegedly. So I think this is definitely a benefit to kids.
Okay, for me, the credit card came first. I remember when the first day that I went to college, they had the tables outside looking pretty with the candy bars, the Snickers, and they had some hats, M&Ms, and I want the M&Ms, and they said, all you have to do is fill out this paperwork for an American Express card, and I filled it out, and at the time, you had to pay it in full every month, and I remember when I didn't have a job, so I'm filling an application saying that I'm just a student. Why are you giving me an American Express card?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. So I went and I was purchasing things as if they were giving them away for free. I remember when the bill came in and I was like $1,500, oh, probably, minimum payment or whatever. They were like, no, we want all of our money. So my credit was, needless to say, shot to H-E-double hockey sticks. But later on, I started to, become, financially savvy with, credit cards and learning how the credit scores and all of that stuff, because I went for a car. And when the guy said to me, have you seen your credit report? And I was like, no. He showed me that page and I was in shock. But in school, I wish someone would have taught me about that. Kyla?
I remember you giving me my first, it was a credit card. Remember I had my face on it?
No, you're supposed to say bank account first.
No, I had my first, I remember that was like my first real card.
Yes,
that had my little face on it.
Yes.
And I remember that. And then I set up another one on my own. It was like the first card I ever set up.
Oh, okay.
I definitely had my bank account first. I remember going to the bank with mommy and setting that up and opening it and putting whatever little money I had at the time in there. So yeah, the bank account before the credit cards, before I was out here swiping with no regards for anything. So I definitely think it's important to teach kids financial literacy, especially in high school, because after high school, most kids are going to college and they're going to have to deal with student loans. And being in high school, it would have been nice to have been taught about, taking out loans and how that works and, that setup, instead of just being thrown out into the real world and trying to figure it out.
So do you think financial literacy should be taught in schools?
100%. 100%.
Okay. Well, in an article by Ed Surge entitled, Why is it important to teach your students financial literacy and the 3 ways to do it? Dennis, forgive me for mispronouncing his name, Duquay writes, teaching financial literacy in the classroom is one promising way to improve financial capacity for today's young people. So my question would be, when should kids start learning about financial security, and who should be responsible for teaching it? Like, I don't feel like I should be responsible for teaching my first graders financial security. I believe that should be something that is taught in the home, especially in the younger grades.
You can probably bring it in as a teachable moment to many of the subjects that you're teaching in class, especially in an English class. Many of the things that we're reading, you can tie finances into any number of things, characters, life experiences, or even financial aspects of a particular time period, any notable financial occurrences that might have happened. So I think you can tie it in as to whether or not it's the teacher's responsibility. I think it can't hurt. I mean, we spend a lot of time with kids throughout the day, so If we can bring in experiences that will help them outside of the classroom, I don't see why we shouldn't. I don't know if you might want to address it as a full curriculum, but there are definitely aspects of financial literacy that you can incorporate into a classroom.
Because finance and marketing there's a slew of headings that go under that umbrella,
Yes.
you know. So it has to be specific, I guess, to when they're capable or when they're ready to learn, you know, specific things. I don't think you should teach a high schooler about mortgages if that's not where his life is going. Don't they lose it in translation after a while they leave?
Well, that I agree with. You could definitely teach kids about the responsibilities of using a credit card
Yes.
or using their debit card. A lot of students
Yes.
probably have debit cards and don't think about, you know, the fact that if you're using that debit card, you have to have money in your account to
Yes.
cover those expenses.
Yes.
So just little basic things, basic money management skills that students need to have. I think those type of things you can incorporate, especially into a high school classroom where students are getting their first jobs.
Okay,
So I think
I agree.
financial literacy probably is important for high school kids.
Okay. Kyla?
I personally think that it should be taught like as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because I feel like so many kids in my college, and just in general, they didn't have parents to teach them what loans are and what's
Right.
financial and what's a good price and what's not a good price and all this stuff. So they're taking out all these loans thinking they can just easily pay it back, and they're paying 3, 4, 5 times as much as the money, and they have no idea about the real world and what's happening. So I think that some people don't have parents at home, so I think that other teachers, you know, they should offer that for these people.
In other words, put that responsibility on the
No,
teacher.
but
Yeah.
because somebody has to take the responsibility.
I understand.
At the end of the day, somebody has, because
Yes.
who else is gonna do it?
It's true. Well, speaking of that, Kyla, I'm glad you said that, because for some parents who might feel that they want to get a head start on it, needless to say, if you know whether or not schools are going to teach it or not, Warren Buffett has, a lot of kids don't know this, but he has a cartoon now called The Secret Millionaires Club, and it has a plethora of episodes, and this is an animated series, and Warren Buffett acts as a mentor to a group of kids who have international adventures in business, and they meet some very interesting guest stars along the way, like Jay-Z, Shaquille O'Neal, Nick Cannon, Kelly Rowland, Bill Gates, and more.
I'm good friends with Warren Buffett. He's gonna teach me how to do my best, learn to invest, and have a lot of fun doing it in the Secret Millionaires Club. The Secret Millionaires, the Secret Millionaires Club, the Secret Millionaires Club.
The best investment you can make is an investment in yourself.
I'm good friends with Warren Buffett. Club.
Please call the meeting to order.
Now, other ways you can help your child is you play Monopoly,
Yes.
Payday, and Game of Life. You know, those are just, you know, fun ways to just get them in the mind frame of finance
Yeah.
and, you know, responsibility. How about buy your child a cash register and let them play store? You know, teach them about, you know, business and paying taxes and just small things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, one of my favorite things is Dave Ramsey. He's a personal money management expert, and he's written 7 bestsellers that sold over 11 million copies. He has Legacy Journey and Smart Money, Smart Kids, and he discusses how to teach kids about money, and he starts from preschool all the way to college-age students. And instead of me telling you what he said for each group, I'm going to show you because I actually ordered his games. This one is called Financial Peace Junior, and I absolutely love this, and this starts from ages 3 to 12. And what I love about this is he has a save pouch, a spend pouch, and a give pouch, and you have to read the instructions. We don't have time for all of this. As I always say, we can't do everything here on the Teachers Unplugged. Parents, you know, homework you need to do. It has the parenting guide. It has the chore chart because he believes in giving kids commission, not allowances. And there's a big difference. And if you go on his website, daveramsey.com, he'll explain to you the difference between giving and the reasoning behind giving commission instead of allowances, and using that vocabulary specifically so they can understand that you need to do things in order to earn, and that's how the real world operates. You know, it explains how you're working, how you're saving, how you're spending, and how you're giving, and it just has little puzzles and little things, you know, for younger kids to understand.
It's a great birthday gift.
Isn't it? This is my favorite. This is called Act Your Wage. And this is like a Monopoly type game, board game. And it's for ages 10 and up. This is phenomenal and I absolutely love this. But this board game is amazing. It has give, days to save, spend, and save. And it has paying bills. You know what the game is really about is if you can get out of debt. Whoever gets out of debt first actually wins the game. So it has cards and it's a bunch to it. Like I said, if you go on his website, DaveRamsey.com, he'll explain it a little bit more and we don't have the time to explain it. And this is about $24, $25. But guess what? Instead of buying, I was going to say video games, but now that e-sport is an actual sport, I can't say that. You know, instead of just spending money on candy and foolishness, you know, get them into financial responsibility. There's also, I also got this for parents. It's by ThirstyHandmadeDays.com, and it's just financial responsibility. It's just like a little sheet that tells you how to teach children to balance the checkbook and what it entails of balancing a checkbook, saving and spending, and what does a credit card do, what does it do, and what's the usage. There's also 10 ways, I believe, Ms. Stevens, you have.
Oh, yes,
to
I sure
also save or get them into that financial responsibility mind frame. Ms. Stevens?
All right, well, let's see what you guys think. Here are also 10 things that teens should know about money according to U.S. News Money. Number 1, save early. 2, talk with parents about investing. 3, embrace the stock market. 4, avoid debt. Teens carry around $749 in debt, which is actually up from $485. Protect your privacy, number 5, that's important.
Yes.
Number 6, know the difference between needs and wants. I'm sure we struggle with that as adults. Number 7, focus on goals and making them as specific as possible. 8, be frugal. 9, embrace mistakes. And number 10, be entrepreneurial.
Yes, those are excellent tips, excellent. And here's a bonus from the Teachers Unplugged called never sign your name on a dotted line for anyone for a loan, for anything else. And if somebody wants to borrow a large sum of money or any sum of money, only give them what you don't need back and always expect not to get it back. And you can read the rest of these and the reasoning and rationale behind them at money.usnews.com and, as I said, DaveRamsey.com. But there's also a downside, Ms. Stevens, I don't know if you knew it, to teaching financial literacy in schools. They're saying that unqualified teachers who could potentially lead students astray based on their own personal experiences or inexperiences, especially with the finance curriculum, you know, what that would entail. Michael H. Baker, who's a certified financial planner, says kids need to learn true principles of fundamentals that are not influenced by financial bias and marketing of the large institutions that seek to gain brand loyalty with the younger generation, and the potential of teaching students things such as buying a house, like we mentioned, buying a house that may not be relevant to them in their current situation, and all that knowledge being forgotten after the course.
Yes, that is true.
So we all agree on teaching financial literacy in some aspects in the schools,
Yes.
right?
I just think it's really important.
Okay.
I don't think everyone sees how important it is, but I think as the years come on, people just become less and less and less aware of what the real world is and what money is. And I just think it's really important because people carry these debts around with their entire lives and they're too young to understand and make these mistakes that are affecting their long-time goals.
Yes.
So I really think it's an important class.
Yes. Ms. Stevens?
I think people tend to become more financially savvy the older that they get. So it's important for you to make a few mistakes that are not going to be costly or mistakes that are not going to damage you long term. But some things you have to learn just through trial and error.
Yes. Well, that's it for the Teachers Unplugged. And as always, we love when you join us, and we hope you will continue to join us. I thank Ms. Stevens as joining me, my partner in rhyme, and I thank the Student Unplugged, Kyla Blake, for joining us. Thank you for your input, Kyla.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you next time, okay?
Take
Ciao.
care.